Hello, everybody.
Alright, let's fucking try this again.
So,
What's
is it
up?
a
Happy
different
Friday,
link,
everybody. Yeah,
babe?
on YouTube? Yeah. Dude, what in the fuck is going on? This is pissing me off, man. What the fuck? Alright. We are live, though, guys. We're live. What's up,
Yeah.
everybody?
Hello. So,
Let's
I'm
try
going to
that.
let you introduce everybody. I'm going to try to share the new link on Instagram, babe.
Hold on. I gotta make sure we're streaming. Can you take over real quick? Thanks,
Yeah.
man.
So, how's everybody tonight? Everybody excited for this episode? Me personally, I really think the Nephilim are already starting to fuck with us. That's just my opinion. Because last time I started talking about the Nephilim, it was really weird. All of a sudden, I couldn't talk. Like I was talking, and it was no technical difficulty on my side. It was very, very strange. But I've watched other videos, and in some of these videos, when people start talking about this, they say the same thing. Like it shuts off. Like they have difficulties with their recording. It's very strange. What's up, Chrissy and Georgia Redneck? How y'all doing tonight? Georgia, I want to thank you, bro. You're always trying to promote us and our channel and everything else. And Chrissy, I want to give a big shout out to you and a sincere thank you for all the work that you did on the Shoto website. So, you guys, she did like a whole biography for nuclear dysfunction. And we will be sure to go ahead and share um, nuclear dysfunction's link in the chat. And I'm going to let you guys do it because I don't multitask well, I'm going to be honest. But if y'all could do that, I'm already subscribed to him. But if y'all could do that, also, while I'm talking, I'm going to give a shout out to Georgia Redneck. You guys out there, if you are new to our channel, we like to promote everybody we can. We promote other podcasts, we promote independent artists and small business owners. So, Georgia Redneck has also was doing music for a while. If you like country rap or hip hop, feel free to check him out. He is now doing comedy, and some of his stuff is just flat out hilarious. So you really got to check them out. You guys really got to check them out. So, Georgia, if you could put your link in the chat, and then if anybody can go ahead and put Lee's, the nuclear dysfunction, put his link in the chat as well, that would be amazing. So that way we can go ahead and get that on our scroll, added to our scroll there. That'd be amazing. So how y'all doing tonight? Y'all excited for this one? What y'all got going on this weekend? On Instagram, they're already trying to shut me down. Are they trying to shut you down, Georgia? Seriously? Why are they trying to shut you down? Because you're not woke? That's ridiculous. They better leave you alone. Let's see here. Like Chrissy, understandable. I might do it. I might do it right now. I just don't want to, since I'm the only one on while he's making sure everything's working. I don't want to be rude and um, like not answering people's questions if they're chatting or whatever. Make it boring for anybody. I don't want to do that. Let's see here. Get him pulled up. Book people getting triggered. Well, that's when you know you're doing something right, Georgia. For sure. Okay, I lied. I thought I was actually already subscribed to nuclear dysfunction, Chrissy, since you told us about him a couple weeks ago. I was not, so I am glad that I am actually doing this to where I found out that I wasn't, and now I am. Let's see, share channel, copy. All right. So, how many of y'all in the chat got the title for tonight's episode? All right. Well, while Stonerman's still trying to check everything out, I'm not sure what's going on his end. What did they try to give you a warning or something because you said something about trafficking? Yeah, they can go f themselves. Exactly. There's nothing wrong with you calling some stuff out.
Fuck themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Well, baby, give me false hope. I thought you were going to be back already.
Almost.
Let's see here. Yeah, I tend to agree with that. Anybody that's got a problem with you shining light on this sort of stuff, I agree. I feel like they have something to hide. 100%.
Why so touchy? You got nothing to hide. Why is it such a sensitive subject?
Mm-hmm.
Don't talk about it. Why? Why can't we talk about it?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's get this started with a little bit of humor. So, you want to tell them what we've been going through, baby?
As far as you're
Nicotine
to be more
withdrawals.
specific. Oh yeah. Yep. We are out
So,
of tubes. You know, we actually like pack our own cigarettes and shit. But well, Kitty does. I used to. She took over. So, but nah, man. Basically, I calculated it out for pretty decent grade tobacco and filters and all that shit. We were like 250 a pack. And I mean, we probably
yeah.
smoke between the two of us 2 packs a day. So, but it is so much fucking cheaper that way, man.
Mm-hmm.
That dude, you buy the right brand, and it's just straight tobacco leaf, man. All
Yeah.
that fucking extra shit in there. The fucking don't do the menthol filters or any of that shit. So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah,
While
that
you're
on top of no AC is making Kitty a very happy person.
well,
Yeah.
we
So
haven't done AC at all. So
yeah, like at all summer. So
yeah.
yeah, we're roughing it, man. We're about to start fucking like churning our own butter, and we're gonna start fucking like living off the land, and only going and buying like raw materials and shit, and do it in bulk. But yeah, like flour and sugar, all your baking supplies and all that. There's a farm down the road, so gonna go get some milk and everything from him. The Tuttle farm, all that good stuff. But make our own peanut butter,
Absolutely.
or can, make our own hot sauces and shit. It's gonna be fun. Kitty is like,
I'm excited. I'm excited
nah.
to learn about it, but I'm gonna be honest, you guys. Like I said, hmm, I've not. I'm not like really a city girl. So it used to say that on my profile. I'm not really a city girl, but I am kind of. I'm compared to him. Like he seriously grew out in the country, and he knows how to do all this stuff. And I'm like, sometimes I'm like, this is what you do. Like from Nancy from King of
King
the
of the Hill.
Hill.
Real
Yeah.
quick, what's up, Georgia? Man, sorry, man. I've been trying to get this shit rolling. What's up, man? Hope you're doing good tonight, man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and thanks so
Absolutely.
much for the shout outs on the Instagram, man. Thank you. You're awesome,
Absolutely.
dude. You're awesome.
So yeah. So I'm looking forward to learning. I just like, it's so much and it's very time consuming. So getting my mindset right to where I'm not grumpy whenever he's trying to show me stuff. And here's the thing is that, he doesn't have time to sit there and wait on me either. So it's a learning process, that's for sure.
So I'll catch up on the chat here. Yeah, shit on that movie, Georgia. You doing like the filming and stuff, man? Like let us know, man. If
Mm-hmm.
you wanna let us know something in the chat, man, about if you wanna give any information, tease it or anything, man, just let us know. We'll throw it up here on the spotlight.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
honestly, Kitty, man, I did not even catch a word you just said. I'm not gonna lie.
Don't worry about it. It was more
I'm
for them. You've heard me talk about this before.
yeah, I've been really out of it. But heck yeah. But tonight is actually a good night. I'm fucking exhausted. But yeah, Kitty is going to basically be leading the show on this one. This is her topic, and she has been doing a lot of homework on it and is very fucking excited. So usually she's just kind of my support, backing me up, throwing in her ideas. So we're gonna switch roles tonight, and I'm going to be the support system on this one, Kitty. Throw in my ideas and let you take it from here.
Gotcha. All right, you guys. So, who here has heard of Gary Wayne? He is an author of two books. The first one, The Genesis Conspiracy, and then the second one is The Genesis Conspiracy Part 2. Um, a lot of what he has written, what he's come out on different podcasts and things like that, I tend to agree with. Like it just like seems to make so much more sense. So let me explain to you who he is as a person. So as a person, he basically is a Christian contrarian. So what that means is whenever he was trying to understand the Bible, and he had different beliefs before he started trying to give it another shot again. And he started reading the Bible. He's like, well, the, why does it only say this? Why doesn't it go in more detail? Why? So this man has spent 30 years of his life going through and researching all of these different historical documents, not just the Bible. I'm talking about he has read the Quran, he has read other what you would I don't they wouldn't like a Bible for different religions. You know, he has also studied Buddhism. He has studied many different areas to try to have more of an understanding um, on the whole story of the Bible. And so it is just amazing. So Genesis 6 basically is about, and let me get that pulled up for y'all. So Genesis 6. And I'm going to be reading off the King James Version, you guys, and there's a reason for that, and I'll go into that later. But you get down to, um, so the earth, this is right before the flood. This is whenever um, the Lord is pretty much like, I have had it with humans. They have become just wicked. I am tired of it. He had regret, like, you know, he was repenting. It like made him feel so sad that he had made us. Um, so basically, he goes forth and it's talking about how the Lord is feeling, but Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. And this is where you start getting into Noah's story, and Noah is going to make the ark. Okay. Now, if you go in the beginning, and all of this is in Genesis. So, I'm going to try to read y'all that quote. Where is it at? All right. So basically, it mentions something about the sons of God. And let me get that one pulled up. That's the one I'm really wanting to read, y'all. I'm sorry I'm a little all over the place. You guys be patient with me. Okay, here it is. And it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair. And they took them wives of all which they chose. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, and yet his days shall be 120 years. So back at this time, people were living for hundreds of years. I believe Adam lived to 900 or 800 years. Methuselah, who is Noah's grandfather or great grandfather, he lived the longest of all of them. I want to say it was like close to almost a thousand years, just like really short of it. Anyway, so the reason why I'm reading this is because this is what Genesis 6, this is why he titled these books Genesis 6 Conspiracy, because it is going to be talking about it. Think about that the sons of God saw the daughters of men. Now, if you go into every different version of the Bible, they do say sons of God. All right. Now, on the other hand, whenever you go to the book of Enoch, and I'm just going to lay this out, it is not canonical, everybody. It is not in the 66 books of the Bible. There are some people that feel a certain way about that, about not reaching out and going and reading different things. But I will say that if you do, because a lot of the earlier Christians did read it and did preach on it, along with the rest of the Bible, that if you do read it, at least use your discernment and ask for guidance from God whenever reading it. Because, I mean, how are we truly to know, right? So I'm going to give you a little bit of background on that. In Enoch, it says it was the angels. This is why they are called the sons of God. Now, Jesus in the Bible is also called Son of Man, right? So you see a couple of different references, and you notice that's a little bit different. So who knows a little bit about the Nephilim and giants? What is their plan? What is why what do you know about them? What makes them like what sort of things do you know about them? That's what I'm trying to ask. And I'm going to give a few minutes for that.
And I think the kind of the what do you call it, like just standard image are gonna be like, you know, kind of like the caveman giants, you know, not really massively intelligent, but very very large, like Jack and the Beanstalk kind of giants. I mean,
B5FO.
there's even shit you can go into with that, dude, for
Oh
real.
yeah. Mhm.
I
Mhm.
mean, yeah, dude, a lot of children's stories and everything, man, really talk about some deep shit.
Absolutely.
So I'm not trying to steal your spotlight here.
No, you're okay. I'm going to go into a little bit of what they are um, known for. So basically, they're associated with cannibalism, eating humans, um, drinking blood, witchcraft, sorcery, DNA manipulation, chimeras, advanced technology, all of that. And the Nephilim are the children of the fallen angels. So a lot of them are referenced if they're male Nephilim, they're associated with either dragons or lions. And the females are associated with fairies or owls. Okay. And a lot of the time they'll have like a serpentine look to them. This is one thing that Gary points out quite a bit. Um, I have a picture here, but I didn't send it to you, Stoner Man. Um, Akhenaten from Egypt. Do you think you could show them a picture of him?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, if you look at him and look at those features, you can kind of see that, there is definitely definitely some
Can you
serpentine look to that person.
can you spell that?
Yeah, it's AKHENATEN, I believe. Yes, Georgia redneck. They were very large. Not all of them, though, and we'll get into that. Well, not all of them, to be in my opinion. I'm not just going to regurgitate what Gary Wayne in his books are about. I'm also going to add some of my own theories here. Like, I would love for y'all to have your own theories as well, because I know that everybody's going to have their own thought process with it. Oh, yeah. See that? See, doesn't he look kind of have like a some sort of serpentine look to him? You're muted.
My bad. Definitely something about the eyes, even though they're horizontal like that. It's just I don't know, man. It just maybe it's the length of the face. It kind of looks like if you're a top down view of a snake's head.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's what it is, but nothing outright. But you definitely kind of see it for sure.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, why are they associated? Why are the men associated with dragons and lions, and the females associated with fairies and owls? So,
And the wood nymphs were basically wood fae, isn't that right?
right.
Yeah,
So, looking at the male part of the bloodline, they're also associated. The males are also associated with ravens. Okay, so that makes you think of Odin, right?
yeah.
Last week we briefly spoke about Vlad Dracula. Dracula means what? Draconta, which is son of dragon. And his bloodline actually went all the way back to Hercules, supposedly.
Yeah.
So, we talked a little bit. We know that they're big people. We know that basically these beings, they were not very nice beings. Okay. Um, Now, looking at the male aspect, okay, why are they associated with these different things? Well, again, if you go into Enoch, and let me see here, I'm going to tell y'all which chapter that is. I wrote it down in my notes. One second, y'all.
Notice what appears to be the sun in a lot of these too. Look at this one. Those like crystals or something being held up to the light.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Almost looks like an
most definitely.
upside down cross right there. I don't know if anybody can see that. Oh, let me zoom
Hey,
in
Jason.
on that. But yeah, fuck, you can't see it. Can you see it here?
I can't see it very well.
Let me see if I can see it. But yeah, right there you can see it's like almost like hands or something coming down. Where's the There's a better one there. Where the fuck did it go? Anyway, but yeah, you see it's like hands coming down from like the rays from the sun, but then you see like the flowers down here too, and they're holding like these crystals up. You can almost see like a sparkle in that one or something. I mean, the sun is definitely powerful, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What's up, Canada? How you doing, man?
Hey, Canada. So basically, we were going over why do they have these associations. So in the book of Enoch, and I did not, shame on me for shame, I did not write down what chapter it was for the men. But the men basically Uh, they so it was believed, according to Enoch, it was the seraphim and the what is the name? Cher,
Cherubim.
I believe so. They were the two different groups that fell. It was a mixture of both of them, not all of them, but mixture. Okay, and according to Gary Wayne in the Book of Enoch, so you look at the seraphim; those are more of the serpentine, the dragon, and the raven, and then the I believe it was the cherubim was more of the lion. Okay, so that's where that comes in. Now for the women, they are associated with fairies and owls. So I am going to pull up Isaiah 13:21. But wild, and this is Isaiah 13:21 again, you guys. But wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures, and owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there. So this is just adding two right there, basically kind of backing that up. Now, I could not find why in Enoch, or really, I haven't really gotten into that with the whole Gary Wayne bit of why the females are associated with fairies or owls. There is a theory out there that the reason why they're fairies is because they were considered neutral. They were waiting to see who was going to win, over the ones that were kicked out of heaven versus the ones that just fell. So they're waiting to see who is going to win to join whatever side, and they were made into fairies. I don't really necessarily believe in that, but that's me. That's my opinion.
Well, with the
Um,
satyrs too, like they were known to, you know, assault the nymphs.
right,
Not always. I mean, there's a lot of seduction, but there were a lot of occasions where they did assault them.
right.
So if they were
So
both Nephilim, I mean, it was basically like two different two different like types of angels, right? Well, they're offspring, right?
mhm,
They're human
mhm,
angel hybrid offspring, two different types. It makes you wonder if there was like some like specific point to that.
right. Absolutely. And again, that's taking just like one verse out of, you know,
Oh, yeah.
always
These
go
are all
through and
just
read everything yourself, guys. Get the whole context of everything, especially whenever it comes to the Bible. Even if it's I'm quoting you a verse, I want you to be able to do that.
oh yeah,
But I
and
believe that
we're just throwing theories together, guys.
mm-hmm,
Don't take what we're saying. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. So leave description. I do have a note about Enoch 15 and 16, and it goes over that description. But I did make the association. I already thought about it before I actually did this part with Gary Wayne. But think about King Arthur, Morgan Le Fay. That's the queen of the fairies, right? So I'm like, oh, that's a fairy like character. But I didn't know this. Whenever I caught up with it with Gary Wayne, he also mentioned Guinevere was supposedly from a line of fairies as well, supposedly, in some
Hmm.
of these tales. Another one that I'm going to quote here is Isaiah 13:34, I believe. 34:14. Sorry.
So interestingly enough, in classical Athens, satyrs made up the chorus in a genre of play known as a satyr play, which was a
Mm-hmm.
parody of tragedy and known for its bawdy and obscene humor. The only complete surviving play of this genre is Cyclops by Euripides,
Mm-hmm.
although a significant portion of Sophocles' Ichneute, Ichneute has also survived. Hmm.
Interesting, huh?
And he was.
And I've got.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say there's a satyr known as, or supposedly a satyr known as Marsyas, who is said to have challenged the god Apollo to a musical contest and been flayed alive for his hubris.
Mm.
Interesting.
So if you go into Isaiah 34:14, also just to add to this a little bit, so if you want to go canonical, they also talk about in this quote, the wild beasts of the desert shall also meet with the wild beasts of the island, and the satyr shall cry to his fellow. The screech owl also shall rest there, and find for herself a place of rest. So again, you're having at least the owls referenced. And every
Yeah.
time the owls are referenced, satyrs are referenced. Well, now in modern day, everything, the satyrs are referenced with what? Fairies. Not really elves, but fairies. So,
And don't forget that fawns, if I'm not mistaken, were the female version of satyrs.
right. So, in another thing about the Nephilim, if you look up Nephi in Hebrew and what that means the fallen ones. Okay. So, according to Gary Wayne, there was more than one incursion of angels that fell. Now, according to Enoch, it was 200 angels that fell. I totally believe that. We have 194 plus craters, throughout the world. Truth Seeker Farm Wife, she has mentioned that before. And we both have shared that reel, I believe, haven't we, babe?
Oh yeah.
Um, but I can totally see that. But he believes that this happened more than once. Yeah, it happened before the flood, and these Nephilim that were the descendants of the fallen angels and these women, they were pretty strong and everything else. The flood happened. Then you've got just Noah, his wife, his three sons, and their wives. And an interesting thing about that, you think about that, a lot of people think there's no way they could have populated the world. That's crazy. Yeah, but how many wives did his sons' wives have? Because they actually don't mention that by name, I don't think. So that's an interesting thing to think about. But let's get back to this. So after the flood, they weren't as big nor as gifted, according to Gary Wayne. Um, Now, you get further into the Bible and you talk about like Abraham days after Noah, and they mention the Raphaim. And if you look up Rapha means healing or to heal. So whenever you think about, and he always brings this up on his whenever podcast he's on. So think about the story of David and Goliath. He had pretty much a sling, took that rock, struck Goliath down. But what did he do right after that? He took his head. He beheaded him. Why did he do that? Why is that so popular amongst that time? Why was that so popular, especially if there was like some sort of wrong something going on within royalty? Look at the royals that were beheaded, Mary Antoinette and King Louis, right? Because the Raphaim, who were the later version after the flood, they weren't as strong. They were a giant breed of people, but they could heal themselves. And the only way to make sure that that was going to stop was to take their head off.
Interesting.
Crazy.
Makes you think
Yes.
of Alice in Wonderland. Off with her
Mm,
head. So he screamed, "Off with her head!" The queen.
absolutely.
Even with
Absolutely.
the little fucking card soldiers. Remember, she was like, "Off with his head."
Mm-hmm.
It's like screaming as they're like dragging them away. Like that was really kind of fucked up looking back. Like, god damn.
Right. No,
Poor dude.
totally.
Damn.
Absolutely.
But yeah,
So,
oh, I was gonna say the Georgia. Yeah, I mean, look at I don't know. You want me to give the kind of gave a clue to it earlier, but Cyclops.
oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I believe Cyclops was some sort of type of Nephilim, if not one himself. But kind of back to Assassin's Creed Odyssey, how like was it the Cyclops and the not Chimera, what was it the like Medusa, and then I can't remember the fucking lion. It was like was it like a big giant lion or something? But they're all like these Isu creations, these you know ancient alien race made creatures.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. I know what you're talking about, though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe
No,
maybe even like Nessie herself.
totally.
Are you researching Kitty, or do you want me to take over from
No,
there?
no,
Oh,
I was making sure you were done.
oh no, I'm good. I'm just
Okay.
jumping in with some stuff here.
All right. So the what happened to the fallen angels? The Nephilim's daddies, I guess you should say. Well, according to Enoch, they were locked away in a pit. Now, I believe, and Gary Wayne does not go into this, but I believe they were actually locked away on different planets, a couple of different planets. That's my opinion. It mentions that they were locked away in Tartarus, right? But I believe they were different planets that they're on, and they're locked away in a pit. Um, so after the Nephilim had had kids and they were wiped out, and then you have the Raphaim coming in, and they're noticing they're having a difficult in producing. This is something that Gary Way mentions, and reproducing. So what do they start to do? They start to intermarry with humans to continue their bloodline. So those are two answers to the questions, right? Well, one answer to one of the questions. Do you believe the Nephilim had their own bloodlines? 100%. Everybody said yes. I believe that's correct. I believe they do as well. Now, what is interesting that he mentions also, so if you think about it, you go into, okay, so how would you know if you're descended from Nephilim blood, right? Well, you can do your own genealogy, and do your own research and find out that way, right? Um, but an interesting thing about this, and let me find that note that I took there. So they believed in Rex Diaz. Does anybody know what Rex Diaz is?
Mm-mm.
So Rex Diaz is the old term for believe they had the divine right to rule. Everybody's heard of the divine right to rule. Anybody who has had history class has heard of that. So that ties in the Nephilim with who? Royalty. So if you look at the word, let's break down the word of etymology, and he does this. He does great at it. Royals, regal, rugal. Now, if you look at Isrugal is actually was supposed to have been the language of the Aryans.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yes, absolutely. And the Aryans, the Aryans were basically they were descendants of. of Nephilim as well. And he mentions, he breaks them up into two um, different types of people. Now you did have other Nephilim as well, different, but for the Aryans, is they have blonde hair and blue eyes, or some of them had red hair and hazel eyes.
Sounds like they were
So,
mixing there to make the Irish.
hmm so of course, after the flood, they weren't as big or as gifted. The Raphaim, again, Rapha in Hebrew means healing or to bring a fever down. They could heal themselves. They could also heal others as well. Um, and we already talked about the story of David killing Goliath, that he also took his head. They believe that decapitation, and this is why they did it to each other. So they're in constant competition with each other. So this is why they don't always get along even back when. But they also believed in doing it to each other because that would be taking all of their energy.
So
Crazy,
like,
right?
so like absorbing it.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah. Craziness. So
Mm-hmm.
that is one. One thing we kind of understand who they are. We haven't really gone into, are they people? Well, yes, they are people. If you look at them now, if you say who are the Nephilim now, you'd look at the elite, you'd look at the nobility, you'd look at, um, the kings and the queens and all of that, right? Um, so, with that being said, most royalty have RH negative, and they're considered to be a part of these Nephilim bloodlines. So, with that being the case, it's at least 15% of humans on the earth are descended from the Nephilim blood. So,
Interesting.
yes, they are people, right now. But who
Yeah.
were they then? Right? So the Bible does go into, and I'm not sure which chapter that is. I'm not even going to try to research it because I'm kind of on a flow right now. But basically, you know, um, it, one of the apostles is, telling these people, like, why are you worshiping these other gods? They aren't even gods. They're people, right? Refers to them as people. But in Enoch, they're more so referred to as the gods of the pantheons. And they did have powers. Yeah. Like they had things that they could do, you know? And this is why a lot of humanity, you know, did worship them. I will tell you also, whenever the fallen angels came down, uh, they they basically showed us quite a bit with plants, um, with medicines, how to make our own medicine from plants, all of these sort of things, right? They also showed us metalwork with weapons.
Makes you think of what was it? Hephaestus? Wasn't he the blacksmith?
Yes, yes. Aphrodite's
Yep.
husband.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. So men were becoming corrupt because that's our natural thing. Like our natural thing, we can be corrupted very easily. Humankind can. God knew that about us. And they kind of put these tools in our hands to where it wouldn't take much for that corruption to set in, even if we were marrying in with them or not. So, because of all of these things that we were learning from them, a lot of people appreciated these angels who took human form at the time, and they worshiped them, and they worshiped their children. So, look at Odin's Odin's kids, right? You also have Zeus has kids. Kronos has Zeus, right? So they seem to kind of hold on to that because they actually remember these people and they tell these tales down. That and since angels, the fallen angels, they are locked away in pits, right? Well, their kids, the Nephilim, even though they were all drowned out in the flood, they are actually still, their souls are still here on earth because they are half angel. So whenever people say that they are talking to this god or that god, they are actually talking to a demon. Sometimes that demon will help you out, sometimes that demon won't.
Well, even if a demon helps you out, there's always a cost.
Right. Price
So,
to pay.
yep. Law of equivalent exchange.
Mm-hmm.
Only it's not always equivalent. So,
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to tell y'all right now, and I said this last week, y'all. I'm going to tell y'all right now that I don't care if you do come from a royalty bloodline or if you know for sure like you had Nephilim blood. It does not matter because you know why? Because the Bible says it doesn't matter. It says in the Bible, Titus 3:9, it basically says, avoid foolish controversies, genealogies, dissensions, and quarrels about the law, for they are unprofitable and worthless. Why? Because Jesus came. That old law about, everybody's bloodline and knowing who's who and all this other stuff, all that went out the window. All that matters is what you stand for right now. That's what matters. I don't care what your bloodline is, neither does God. So that's a little bit about that. So we've answered those couple of questions. Do y'all have any questions so far, you guys?
I do want to throw these up here though,
Okay.
because they say we have powers. We just have to remember absolutely. And she said, "My understanding starts with your third eye."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we don't use any fluoride products anymore. Not in the water,
Mm-mm.
not in our
We sure do
dental
not.
hygiene, nothing.
Absolutely.
It has made a huge difference.
Absolutely. Um, so y'all let me know if y'all have any questions on any of this stuff. I know I'm kind of like going in and out. One of the reasons why I believe that these fallen angels are locked up on a planet or maybe one or two planets is because whenever God, so Enoch is shown where they're going to be imprisoned. And this is the good Enoch. There are two Enochs in the Bible. One is Cain's son, and there's what you call Enoch mysticism, and that is kind of a bad thing, okay? Because he was all about learning from the Nephilim and all of this stuff, not doing anything with God or anything like that. Taking shortcuts, basically, um, and doing what he had to do for knowledge. Okay. Now, this Enoch is actually in Noah's direct line, and he walked with God. So in the Bible, it's so weird. There's like a good and bad. You'll see throughout the Bible the whole time. You'll see like a good and a bad with people with the same name. It's just insane. So
Makes you think
Enoch
about
is,
doppelgangers.
yes,
Like,
absolutely.
are they just your exact image, or are they like an opposite of you? Like, I won't. I know you're probably gonna go in this in a minute, but I'll say, think of Superman and Bizarro.
We're gonna wait on that one because
Yeah, yeah. I'll leave it there.
we
I'll leave
have
it
okay. So um, he's shown where they're gonna be in prison, and whenever he goes into that, um, whenever he goes into that, he talks about the seven stars that are often called the Pleiades. So I believe it's Saturn. And the reason why I believe it's Saturn is because of the black cube cult. And if you want any reference there, that's in Enoch chapters 5 and 6.
And
Okay.
one thing I will say about Saturn too is I don't know so much anymore, but I know like growing up, like Saturn was the only planet depicted with rings, but it's not.
Hmm. Right, because it's not basically a place with no firmament.
What kind of firmament?
Right. So.
But I will say too, Mars does have to me anyway, a resemblance to hell. And anybody who's
Hmm.
ever played like the Doom games, man, like, you know, I think there's a little bit of truth even in those games because, fuck, dude, there's something there. I don't know. It might be remains, runes. It might be something living. I don't fucking know, but there's something.
Right.
What's up, Woodchuck? How you doing, man?
Hey, Woodchuck. I started to listen to your song. I loved it so far. I have to listen to it whenever we're done, so I can
Oh
share it on
yeah, I
my
haven't heard that
story.
yet. I gotta check
Yeah.
that out.
So is it true that God said, "Since I sacrificed my body for your salvation, no need for animal sacrifice"? 100%. That's the old law. Old law was animal sacrifice. You'd have to sacrifice for your sins.
But then
Um,
it still carry on in some cultures.
oh no, it is. It is.
No,
But
I'm
I'm
just
talking
saying like
about like within
why did they?
Christianity.
No, I know, but I'm saying like why did so many other people kind of carry that on for so long?
Right.
It's almost like going against God's word. Like
Hmm. Well, I
we
think it
want our
also.
gods over the one true God, kind of deal. And I don't think it went for everybody. I mean, I think some people did, believe that they had good intentions, but for the most part, you know, the I believe is still worshiping false idols.
Mhm.
Sacrificing for the false idols.
So another planet I believe it could be, and this is just my thought, with the columns of fire, it's also used as a prison, is possibly Venus. So we've talked about a little bit about, you know, the beginning, the Nephilim. And I'm going to kind of go into a little bit more detail here. So whenever Noah builds the ark, and afterward of course, the whole earth is flooded, finds land, he, his wife, his 3 sons, and their wives are able to fill the earth. Um, evening after this, though, after like they've landed and he's made a vineyard and he's been working out in the vineyard all day, he passes out naked in his tent after working in the vineyard, drinking wine all day. And his one of his sons, Ham, makes fun of him. From Ham uh, comes descendants who reside in Shinar, which is associated with Nimrod, who is an associated Nephilim. So that was very interesting
I mean, they had
to
an album
me.
named Nimrod.
Yes, I
Look
did
at the al-
not.
Look at the album cover too. Before they changed it for the remaster or whatever, or
Yeah.
anniversary edition, whatever. But yeah, it was like a film roll. He had like the back to back same image. And it had like the black bar across the eyes, but it looked like maybe like I don't know, just a regular portrait, or maybe a school photo or something. But it was the same person with the black bar
Right.
above.
And in Enoch, it goes more into there were different tribes of Nephilim, uh, along with the Raphaim. You have the Emim. Uh, you had a couple of different ones, and if you look them up, um, basically it kind of gives you that inkling. Like the Anakim, that was another one. Um, the Moabites, but they were called the Emim, and that's in Deuteronomy 2:10 through 11. These were all giants that were mentored after the flood, you guys. Um, so this stuff is just very interesting that he's got going on in his books. If you don't have time to read his books, at least check him out on a podcast. He's been on several different ones. One of them for sure he's been on a few times is The Deep End. That's one for sure. Um, but I'm going to read a couple of these verses here. Um, let's see here. Make sure
I
that
do
they're
it real quick. I
relevant.
had it wrong. It was two different pictures, and it's got the Nimrod little yellow stamp on it. I was
Ah,
wrong on that, but still, it's like, what is that? Is that like a duality of some sort? Maybe the whole two of the same but different.
right. Exactly, Chrissy. Why be in a religion? They are all very cult like. Exactly. Um, that's a lot of the problem, even with Christianity, dude. They like to put God in a little box and put everybody else around them in a little box. And if you go outside that box, then it's not okay. And that's not okay. That's not what it's about. Not at all.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
you should be
people,
able to have a different thought from the rest of the group, you know?
absolutely. Absolutely. And this isn't me trying to push like Christianity whatsoever. This is just the research that I've done. A lot of it has been based on Gary Wayne's works, but I throw in some of my own stuff from here as well. Um, so it's really fascinating to me. And I will tell you that I do believe in this stuff. And I may get a little worked up here and there because I know how many of us think we're in a spiritual war. I think all of us have talked about this before. I believe we are in a spiritual war, you guys. Stonerman and Just Doing, they have all mentioned that they believe we're all in World War III already. We have been for years. It's a propaganda and information war, you know,
Absolutely.
and
Spiritual war.
it's a mind fuck. Every time you turn around, you don't even know what's true anymore, anywhere anymore. You don't know.
Trump throwing
So
everybody over a loop with his fucking comments that I think are highly misunderstood, but definitely been some suspicious shit there. But
right,
I think
right.
he's speaking delicately still.
So and with me saying all this is not any judgment who is not a Christian. Whether you don't believe at all, or you do believe, or you believe in other things, whatever, that is not this at all. What this is about is knowing your enemy. What this is about is okay, if we all believe we're in a spiritual warfare, who are we fighting against? Okay, a lot of Christians, normal Christians, just say the devil. It's more than just the devil. It is more than just the devil, you guys. Now, the devil may be considered, quote unquote, king of this world here on earth, right? But he's got his cronies around. So, this is what it's about. And this is why I get passionate about this, not because I'm judging anybody or because I'm going to say, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that. Hell no. I know that I would never want to be told that. So I'm not going to tell anybody else that. But I want you to know your enemy. I want you to understand it, know how they work, what kind of games they play, what kind of they like to copy God. They can never be original. They like to copy God. They like to copy, just like look at false witnesses. Look at false prophets. They like to copy because in a way it's like mocking. It's like insult to injury. So absolutely, this is why I get a little bit passionate about this, because I do care about other people. Even if you're like even if you don't like me, I don't care. I don't want anything bad to happen to you. Exactly, Chrissy. The evil on the children. Dark hit, dark high tech, spiritual
Architect.
weakness. Yeah, and high places. Absolutely.
And thanks for joining in, man. Good to see you here,
Absolutely.
brother.
That is exactly what it is. So I'm going to go into have any of you guys, okay, so if any of this stuff is interesting to you, I will recommend another person to check out. His name is Nathan Reynolds. Okay, he has his own channel. And he is actually been through all of this stuff. He was actually an elite kid, and he had to fight his way out of this. And he talks about the horrible things he had to go through and everything else. And the reason why he's fighting back so hard, because even though he wanted to run away and just go hide in a hole and just be by himself and left alone, he knew that this is important. This fight's important. He knew he had to do this. God was calling him to do it.
And the architect, exactly. There are gates, and we even talked on a previous episode about how certain drugs can be you know almost bring you closer to or help you open those gates, and your state of mind and everything can help determine, do you pick a gate to the light, to God, or do you pick a gate to something else, that evil, that darkness.
Absolutely. But you guys, I don't ever want y'all to feel like you can't tell me anything like, hey, Death Kitty, you're coming off, judgy here, or I'm not understanding. Just let me know. I appreciate the feedback. I'm not a perfect person. So I'm going to read a couple of these verses real quick. Let's see here. So, another thing to kind of back up the whole Nephilim theory, right? If you look at Psalm 22:12, and this is the ESV version of Bible, many bulls encompass me, strong bulls of Bashan surround me. So bulls and bullies were very much associated with giants and Nephilim. They were considered bullies because they were mean. They and many of their descendants refused God and were polytheistic and worshipped what? Bulls.
The iron, was it the Iron Bull? Or no, it was
Right, where
bronze,
they
wasn't it?
smoke somebody in there.
Yeah, no, I think it was iron, wasn't it?
I can't remember. I believe so. Another quote, just to kind of add to this, you guys. If you go to the New Testament, 1 Corinthians 11:7. Actually, it's going to be 7 through 10, the ESV. For a man ought not to cover his head, since he is the image and glory of God, but woman is the glory of man. For man was not made from woman, but woman for man. Neither was man created for woman, but woman for man. That is why a wife ought to have a symbol of authority on her head because of the angels. So it's talking about a woman should cover her head. Now, again, this is back in that day, right? None of us do that anymore unless you're in certain ranges of the world. But women should cover because of this. So that's in reference to the fallen angels and the watchers who thought men were fear and defiled themselves with them, create them. So that's just, to me, that adds to it.
Absolutely.
So
Okay, it was bronze.
was it
Like the
bronze?
sounds when they cooked them. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think was the Greeks used that the most, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, those are the couple questions that we've answered so far, right? We haven't even hit unicorns, chimeras, or Nazis yet. Y'all ready?
Nazis. Nazis.
Nazis.
We had Nazis.
Okay, so Who of y'all think unicorns are real?
I have to say yes, because there is way too much imagery out there, especially this. If anybody has ever had the severe misfortune to watch the fucking, was it Charlie the Unicorn?
Mm-hmm.
I think there is some deep symbolism in that, even though as painful as it is to watch and obnoxious. Dude, I feel like that was some fucking programming there. There's a
Yeah.
whole generation that like grew up on that shit on YouTube, man, and I think it was just mind-meltingly fucking stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, seriously, man, there's not much I would legitimately say I feel like I got brain damage from, but I honestly fucking do, man. Like, you feel something in your head watching that shit, dude. It's not healthy.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
But yes, I do
Absolutely.
believe there was a unicorn, just not this majestic, innocent fairy tale creature that it's portrayed to be.
So, according to Gary Wayne, they did exist.
Interesting.
Stephanie, whenever you watch this, girl, I know you're going to be happy about hearing that.
So what
Now,
were they? Like,
they did
according
exist, but they were actually creations of the Nephilim. They were this cute little white horse with one horn. They were beasts, and they were like intentional, like not chimera the being, because there's two different types of chimera here. They were chimeras like that they created, and they were beasts, and they were ugly, and they rode them into battle.
who's to say they were both the same?
So a couple of just to add to this also, and then I'm going to throw a little wrench at the end. Y'all ready? So Psalms 92 9 through 10. Let's see here. For lo, thine enemies, O Lord, for lo, thine enemies shall perish. All the workers of iniquity shall be scattered. But my horn shalt thou exalt like the horn of a unicorn. I shall be anointed with fresh oil. And this is the King James
Huh.
version, you guys. Another one. God brought them out of Egypt. He hath, as it were, the strength of a unicorn. Numbers 23:22. So, and if you look at paintings from back in the day, a lot of these gods, right, which I'm saying and Gary's saying, Gary Wayne has said, that were the Nephilim. The gods were the Nephilim, right? But you see them in chariots. They rode chariots with what? White horses. And a lot of those horses have one horn. Now, guess what one of the national symbols of the UK is?
What is
Unicorn.
interesting?
Mm-hmm. All
So
right. So
apparently
we
that is also an LGBT whatever, like whatever the acronym is now, symbol.
the unicorn symbol, like the little
Yeah,
emoji of the unicorn.
I think like it just said like the unicorn itself was.
That's interesting.
So I'm gonna share this here real quick. So unicorn means one horn, and it is actually translated from monokeros. I believe is how you say it, monokeros
I think so.
in Greek. A compound word meaning only one, single, and keros, neutral gender, which means horn. Neuter gender, which means horn. So basically, that means it could be any gender. It's not like a male female specific name. Let's see.
I don't know if they had wings or not. And Gary, he says it could be a possibility that they did have wings, like Pegasus. But he he doesn't say he knows for sure or not on that one. And I have not been able to find any research on that as well.
So the Monoceros was first described in Pliny the Elder's Natural History as a creature with the body of a horse, the head of a stag minus the antlers, the feet of an elephant, and the tail of a wild boar. It has one black horn in the middle of its forehead, which is 2 cubits, about 1 meter or 3 feet in length, and is impossible to capture alive.
So another thing about that, you guys, how many of y'all remember the medieval tales of people talking about, like old stories talking about killing unicorns?
Oh yeah. So this is really interesting though. The Cosmos Indicopleistus in the Christian topography writes that he did not see the animal, but he did see brazen figures of it at the palace of the king of Ethiopia, and from these figures was able to draw it. He also mentions that people speak of it as a terrible beast and invincible, and that all its strength lies in its horn. When it is pursued by many hunters and is about to be caught, it springs up to the top of some precipice whence it falls down. Then, while falling, it turns so that the horn sustains all the shock of the fall and escapes unhurt. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely. Very interesting. So some goats have
Are you,
had one horn, according to Georgia.
are you catching this right here?
Missing. Oh yeah, I know about that.
No, it's a rhinoceros.
Yeah.
But the way he described, described the animal. Where was it here? Body of a horse, head of a stag, the feet of an elephant, and
Mm-hmm.
the tail of a wild boar. That is pretty close to a rhinoceros.
Absolutely.
And, you know, like how many poachers and everything hunt rhinos? Supposedly
Mm-hmm.
they're like a rhinoceros horn is supposed to have like all these like medicinal, like holistic healing abilities and all of that. So who's to say that maybe the rhinos aren't the real unicorns, or maybe some sort of hybrid lineage of the unicorn?
Right. Absolutely.
Why is their horn so powerful? I mean, there you can see there's 2 horns. There's one.
Right.
I think, I think commonly they do have 2. So
The
therefore, I would think
Japanese
if anything, it would be a hybrid. Sorry, go
see
ahead.
now. I was actually reading Dark High Tech. Their their message here. The Japanese, is it Kirin? Is that how you say that? Kirin is a unicorn.
Uh, is that in the chat or?
Yeah.
Uh, oh, the Kirin. The Kirin? I don't know. See.
Kirin. Interesting. Now, I do believe that they were drowned in the flood because they were Nephilim made, and that was one of the other reasons why God wanted to do this great flood, according to the Bible, was that it wasn't just the people that were so corrupt and evil; it was some of the animals too. And I believe these are the animals that the fallen angels had created and the Nephilim had created with advanced technologies. They were splicing DNA and making like what we consider chimeras to be today. Kirin. Okay, that's how it's said. Kirin.
Kirin. We can find something on there.
If you've read his books, let me know. He's just amazing. I've just found him recently. Maybe at one point we in the future we can get him on here. He would go through this like this, you guys. So
So it's a symbol of prosperity, peace, and virtue, and is
Hmm.
considered an omen of good fortune, appearing during times of peace or birth or death of a sage or ruler.
Mm-hmm.
Depicted with a deer-like body, dragon scales, and a single backward curving horn, sometimes seen as an Asian unicorn.
Interesting.
Interesting.
That's cool. Yes, the Atlanteans were obsessed with blending and making chimeras. 100%. They were. They were also Nephilim as well.
Interesting.
Absolutely. So that answers that for the unicorn. We've been kind of leading up to the chimeras. So, whoa, I lost everybody. Are y'all still there?
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
chat's still.
okay. So, I'm gonna. It's gonna take me a minute if you want to go over something else.
As far as you were talking about, like the planets or Saturn and the Black Cube cult, that being the prison or one of them anyway.
Mhm.
I do firmly believe, I mean, look what the Romans did. They renamed all the Greek gods after, you know, like our planets are named after the Roman gods that the Romans basically renamed from the Greek pantheon. And, you know, why did we name these planets after these gods? And I do believe that Planet X is a real thing. I think you know, there is something that we have supposedly caught out there, like way in the, distant edge. But I don't know if that's true. I don't know what exactly Planet X is, but my theory is it's not like an organic planet or, some gas giant. I think it's more artificial, but not in the way that
Mhm.
we think, not to a Death Star kind of level, but I do think the Death Star was an idea that came from somewhere. And I think the whole theory behind Planet X started maybe the 50s or 60s, maybe. I'm not 100% certain on that, but.
I'm not sure either.
So, Georgia said a good point Church brought up a while back was how did Moses build a boat that would take years to build in such a short amount of time? Kitty, have you gone over that? I think you had,
So
yeah, didn't you? Or who was
I
talking about that?
I don't remember, but I believe it takes like it took him a good part of his life. It seems like such a short amount of time in the Bible, but I believe it took most of his life. I really do. Uh, Chrissy, not supposed to mix. I don't understand that question.
She's saying like I think like us and the Nephilim bloodlines and all that.
Oh, we weren't supposed to. We weren't supposed to, right? And the reason why is because it just look at how much control. Like if you look at it in today's perspective, look how much control the elite and everybody else has right now. Look at what all they're doing to everybody. And I mean, I believe that they are intentionally dumbing down our youth, making drugs fully accessible, everything else, because they don't want you to fight. They don't. And a lot of the reason why, and Gary mentions this as well, the fallen angels had kids. They went ahead and decided to have children with the human women, is because they didn't want to mess with God. So they got their kids to do it. to kind of keep their hands out of it. And everything in the Bible was almost a legal contract. Um, if you really truly look at it, like almost everything is a legal contract. So it's just very interesting. But that's a very good question, Chrissy.
But yeah, no,
So,
like the architect brought up about him reading the old newspapers. I think you're saying that was Gary.
mm,
Um, yeah, Gary.
hmm
Oh no, he's saying another one is the archivist channel that reads the old newspapers. Man, the amount of stuff that you can find in those because it was before, social media where, you could kind of release a narrative openly and a mass, reach the masses quickly. It was people actually locally printing news and, you had like your small town papers and stuff like that. And, they would actually say stuff and, before anybody could say no, 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 keep that hush hush.
right. Absolutely. So,
Before we
another
get,
interesting
oh,
thing with the chimeras. Oh, go ahead, baby.
no, you're fine. Go ahead.
So another interesting thing about the chimeras is what are satyrs basically to you guys?
Well, you know this, and like Greek mythology, there is so many of these like hybrid animals, and
Mm-hmm.
you know when you hear like the stories and everything describing these creatures, like head of a lion, body of this, tail of that, whatever. It's like, okay, well, they're just trying to put an image together in your head, of like what it looks like,
Mm-hmm.
by describing it and relating it to things that you can visualize, right? What if
Right.
it's not that? What if it's legitimately saying it was like all these different pieces all fucking spliced together and shit? Because, dude, look at the fucking platypus, man. Tell me that thing wasn't fucking spliced together.
Right. Right.
How many
I knew
times do
you
I
were
have to
gonna.
bring up the fucking platypus, man?
I know that.
Man was
I
out
knew
there
you were gonna
shit
bring it.
legs in the water with fucking looking like a beaver and shit. The fuck?
Yeah. Yeah.
Duck, beaver, fucking chicken, duck, chicken, whatever.
Yeah.
Fucking weird thing. Anyway, you're like, oh, guys on the platypus ranting.
You're good. You're good. So satyrs are basically, I mean, if you honestly look at it, they would be what we consider today be a chimera, but chimera actually was something from the past. It was an actual being. It was an actual like thing, and it had different parts. But I believe that the Nephilim also created um, certain chimeras, made their own chimeras, and they made different versions. One being the unicorn. Um, satyrs mentioned at least a couple times in the Bible. Um,
So what if the Chimera was just like the Chimera, like it was their stable release, like, hey, this is our perfected, finalized creation,
hmm
and that's why it became known as the Chimera. What if all the other Chimeras were just experiments, them trying to learn, see what they could do, build something better and greater that was of use to them,
hmm
and somehow these creatures were just either thrown out into the world or somehow escaped and started reproducing and shit. Obviously, intermixing with other species and shit like that to procreate and survive.
hmm
But yeah,
Absolutely. Another place where it's also mentioned, whenever David, he is, there's somebody he's bound. I don't remember what chapter that was, and I don't have it written down. But Gary goes over this as well in one of his interviews, and he talks about David, the story of David, and how he's attacked, and he ends up killing these men with lion faces. Well, y'all know who that is
Hey guys, I
based
have to
upon
say,
all this research.
man, anybody who's watched Full Metal Jacket, or not Full Metal Jacket, sorry, Full Metal Alchemist,
Hmm.
the chimeras, man. I'm not. I won't go into that, but there is something to the chimeras, and alchemy is fucking real, guys. It is the manipulation of matter, today called chemistry.
Right.
And that show they talk about the law of equivalent exchange. That is true in chemistry. You can say, yeah, it's just a fucking anime, but man, there's a lot of fucking truth in that shit, man. I mean, spiritual, like a mix of like spirituality and like science and shit mixed together. Like, it's incredible. And uh, the overall, like, kind of life, death, different, going through the veil and all that, like, it really makes you think, man, of what it took for them to make these chimeras. Where, yeah, we're talking about like what are they, who were they, what creatures might they have been, but what did it take to make them?
Right. That's interesting. Do you see Chrissy's comment?
You know, that vaguely sounds familiar. That's interesting.
I don't know what that is, but that is interesting to me.
Dude, dude, that sounds really fucking familiar.
Another place that's mentioned, and it's not obvious, they don't say chimera specifically, but in 2 Samuel 23:20, while he's looking that up, um, basically, it was in Benaiah, the sons of Jehoiada. I say these, I butcher these names all the time, you guys, I'm sorry. The son of a valiant man of Kabzeel, who had done many acts. He slew 2 lion-like men of Moab. He went down also and slew a lion in the midst of a pit in time of snow.
Here's this with that Chrissy was talking about. So human chimerism is a condition where a person has two different sets of DNA within their body. While this is rare, it can lead to complications with DNA tests, especially in cases where maternity or paternity needs to be proven, according to the Embryo Project Encyclopedia. For example, a woman may give birth to a child, but a DNA test may show she is not the biological mother if the DNA in the tissue tested differs from the DNA she passed on to the child.
Hmm.
Oh, that's a true duality there, isn't it?
That's crazy.
Genetics of chimerism being your own twin. Let's see what this says. So the term is derived from the word chimera of Greek mythology, a fire-breathing creature with a lion's head, goat's body, and a snake's tail.
Hmm.
Why would they pick that, like, name?
Right.
So,
Exactly.
chimera is an organism that originates upon the fusion of two or more zygotes. In contrast, a mosaic is an organism that originates as a combination of two distinct cell lines of a single zygote. Huh.
Interesting.
Interesting. So I wonder what, like, there's got to be a reason that they picked that name.
Right.
So,
Absolutely.
microchimerism is a form of fetal maternal cell trafficking across the placenta. Fusion chimerism is formed by fusion of two zygotes, and twin chimerism, also known as blood chimerism or transfusion chimerism, is caused by transfer of cells between dizygotic twins via fused placentas. Wow. So fusion chimerism is like, you hear about like, a deceased fetus being, getting absorbed into like its twin fetus.
Hmm.
So yeah, those people that like basically it's like two people in one. It's fucking trippy, man.
Right. Right. And
Sorry,
I've
I'm
heard
getting
of
off
this
on a tangent,
also.
Kitty.
No, 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 no. You're good. You're good. Well, I've heard of this. How many of you have heard of, and I'm sure you all have, about, I think it's especially with twins, like with crime. Like, let's say they take blood from one brother and they both have like the same type of DNA, but it's different, but it's the same. It's like, I don't know, it's like two combined different things going on. And have y'all heard of those cases? Do y'all know what I'm talking about? Where the wrong twin goes to prison or something?
Oh yeah.
I mean, if it's like they're literally using DNA, but this particular twin carries both. So,
So even being left-handedness or ambidextrousness can be a sign of chimerism. Chimerism.
huh.
Having two blood types. Identifying as transgender when chimerism also involves the sex chromosomes. Brain cells can have different sex chromosomes than other cells in the body, which is theorized to contribute to having transgender identity.
Interesting.
And we're talking the real ones here, not people that are just told, hey, no, you're this now. You're going to be,
Right.
you're confused. You don't know what you want. That kind of shit.
Right.
We're not talking about that.
Right.
Originating as a twin pregnancy, but the other twin did not survive, also known as vanishing twin syndrome, and a failed paternity or maternity DNA test for unexplained reasons can be signs. Patches of different colored or textured hair, disorder of sexual development, for example, having, both genitalia, um, two different skin tones, or even patches of different skin tones, and two different colored eyes. Interesting. So yeah, interesting on that one. That is a good point there, Chrissy, for sure. But yeah, like I said, we can talk about what are the chimeras and all that, but what did it take to make them, and why did they choose that name for this, for this medical, I guess you would call it, occurrence. For them to choose that, I feel like there's got to be a connection, you know. But was that some sort of human chimerism, going on there? Like they were maybe trying to experiment with us, maybe modify parts of us. And that could even be, genetic modification. It doesn't have to necessarily be like trying to put limbs of different creatures or different, humans on us, necessarily, but it could even be like genetic modification, trying to change like certain predispositions we have, in our health and stuff like that. Um, I mean, I know the government's done, these projects for, on super soldiers and all that. A lot of study going into our genetic code and all of that. And, you know, I think if we were to make a super soldier, it wouldn't be just some magical serum. It would have to be something that would genetically modify your body. And I think the best time to do that would be at the time of, conception, because, that way your body can develop and form into this result that you're looking for, as opposed to trying to change form of a body already there. And maybe that's where so much of the failure came from in the past, was maybe they were doing it in the wrong way. Maybe these experiments with super soldiers and all that, through, many different countries. What if they were started out trying to modify humans and change adults, and realized, hey, this is the best way, we need to do this, and we need these people to be born and develop through age into what we're trying to create. Maybe that's another part of where these kids go. They're missing. Maybe that's part of what these labs are, where they are growing, fetuses in pods and shit, like some Matrix shit. You know,
Exactly.
maybe they realized that they couldn't modify an adult body as well as they could just create one from birth.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. And that should make everybody concerned for what they're doing with those babies in those pods.
Absolutely.
And don't send your DNA off.
You guys can do whatever the hell you want, man.
You can do what
We
you
highly
want.
recommend not sending
Yeah,
DNA. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, last thing I will go over here real
Are we, go-
quick.
are we going into the topic I've been looking forward to after this?
Well, we're gonna go into that right now if you're ready.
Yeah, let's
And
do it.
I'm gonna add a bonus. I'm gonna give the chat, if we have time, would y'all like to hear about my theory of Babel,
Hell
the Tower
yeah.
of Babel? So go ahead and let's start getting into it, Stoner Man.
You got lead on this one.
Well, okay, so who here believes that the Nazis had way advanced technology
Wolfenstein.
for the time?
Play Castle Wolfenstein, man. Like old school. Tell me some shit to that.
For the time, who believes that?
Doom, Wolfenstein. I think they're connected.
That's correct, Chrissy. Absolutely, they do. From blood tests, you know, that's true. Um, so I believe that Nazis had way advanced knowledge than anybody else did at the time. I believe that they had what? How do you say that word? Super waffle.
Huh?
Super waffle. What do they call
The
it? The
Wunder?
super
You talking about the
weapons?
Wunderwaffe?
No,
The Wunderwaffe?
he speaks. He speaks German so much better than I do. I butcher it. Super waffle.
I got
That's what they
German
call
blood.
it. Yes, he does. Okay.
What? Hold on. Did you text it to me?
No.
Text it to
I.
me, like the spelling. How do you spell it?
Hold on.
Zero,
If you just type in Wonder Waffle, Waffa.
Wunder, Wunderwaffe?
D-
That's why I said
yeah.
Wunderwaffe. Or no, actually I think it's
Okay.
Wunder,
Yeah.
Wunderwaffe.
That
Wunderwaffe.
that's what they call it. I'm gonna put that in the chat because I don't know. All right. So I do believe that they had way advanced technology. I believe that they had advanced technology, maybe not quite pre-flood era. I believe the pre-flood era was way advanced, even though what we have now. I believe we are getting there. We are on the fast track to there, but this is enough. So the Nazis, right? They came up to power and started back or 30s, right? All the way up to the late 20s, early 30s. This party is forming. And by this point in the world, you have a lot of different books coming out, things like that. A lot of these mystics are writing their own books as well. And some of these people in the party get a hold of these books. They're like, this is interesting. Um, so they do their own investigation with it. Now, a lot of this part with the Nazis. Hey,
What's
Carolina
up,
girl.
Carolina girl?
So a lot of this part with the Nazis is they were big time into the occult. All of us
Oh
know
yeah.
that. Okay. But what was their fascination? Like, they were not dumb. There was something about it that made them want to keep seeking out more and more. And whenever they would take over a country, what would happen? What would they do, Stoner Man?
Which part?
Well, they would take relics.
Oh yeah, no, they'd raid the shit out of everything. They took
Yeah,
paintings, they took relics, artifacts, all kinds of shit.
absolutely. But their main interest was the relics. So why? That and the cult goes hand in hand. So you're going back to like about the late mid 30s, and they have this doctor that they want him to because they are truly believing at this point in the Nazi Party. They believe that they are descended from the Aryan race. Now, according to my research, according to Gary Wayne, obviously as well, the Aryans are descendants of the Nephilim. Okay, so they believe that they are descendants of the Aryans. So basically, descendants of Nephilim. And because of that, they want to be able to prove it. This would be like a thing of national pride, right? So they have this doctor um, go out and try to find that link. And where does he go? He goes to Tibet. And he's there for a good long time. He has a whole bunch of red tape with the British government because the British is right there by India. And British is getting involved. Like, no, they're talking bad about the Germans. Like, you don't want them in your country. You don't want them doing anything. But finally, they were able to get in. And I want to say this is maybe a couple of years later that they finally get in there. And what are they looking for? I mean, during this time, they are looking for, yes, this missing connection. They do these head measurements with the people in the villages and the ear measurements and things of that nature, trying to make some sort of link because they knew that the Aryans had come through Tibet as well because they headed east and then they moved west again. Okay. So makes me think of Tuathadanan. The Tuathadanan were the fairy kings and queens. Supposedly there was this light that always shined around them. They were red-headed, hazel-eyed, and they ended up coming to the Celtic Islands, and they came from the east. So they were also considered Aryans as well. So anyway, going back to this, so he's trying to find an opening in some of these mountains or whatever because they believe what they've heard, and not sure if it's true or not, but they heard that some of these Tibetan monks are speaking to some of these like entities, and they could speak with them, and they wanted to be able to do this, so they're trying to find an opening, in the sides of these mountains and everything else. Once they finally get in, and then the war starts to ramp up, right? In the meantime, this is like kind of like right before the war. In the meantime, the Nazis, what do they do? After he's been in Tibet, and we have no proof that he found an opening and he communicated with any entity, but what happened? They went to Antarctica. That's just kind of random, right?
A
You
lot
have a
of shit in
doctor over
Antarctica we
here.
don't know about.
You have a doctor over here that is finally in Tibet, And then the Nazis sent people down to Antarctica. Now, supposedly it was because they were told by this entity to find a place in Antarctica and convene with these people there. But they weren't really people. And so, according to that, also they had these rituals and everything else um, that they had to complete and everything for more knowledge and everything else. Kind of like if you think of today's gatekeepers with knowledge. So
And
that is fascinating. They went to Antarctica in once in 1938, and then they went again in 1939. And America went in 1939, and they found out they're starting to be on edge with Germany as well. What is it about Antarctica? Why were they all getting kind of suspect with Germany for going into Antarctica? Have y'all seen like the tunnels and stuff that they had there? Their stockade of everything that they put down there. It's crazy. Stunnerman?
hmm. So I was researching. What was the question?
It's okay.
No, what was the question?
Um, are you ready to go into your stuff now?
No, no, you got lead on this. You
I'm
you
pretty
started.
much I pretty much got you to the point where you can start going into your stuff.
No, 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 you did the research on this. I'm just gonna throw in my 2 cents. You got this. Go for it.
Okay.
Dun,
Um,
dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun,
so
dun,
y'all
dun.
remember the intro for Captain America, the first one, where the Nazis are seeking like this artifact. So that from the research that I've done, I'm like, dude, it looks like that totally was a possibility. So I sent you some pictures, and this is why I wanted you to go over it because I wanted you to be able to pull up the pictures. But
I can pull up the pictures here. Which one?
I guess we'll go over the Land Cruiser, the P1000,
Oh,
Wunderboff, Boff,
let
too
me
big
get
for the
that.
battlefield. That was one of their super weapons.
So isn't it kind of weird that they had a Land Cruiser and we got a Land Rover? All right, here we go.
I see that thing is massive. That was one of the super weapons. Look at that tank. It's just insane. The next thing would be the V2.
You can see here. It looks like just kind of the scale what like a normal tank would be in comparison. It's fucking massive. Which was the next one?
V2, Victor number 2, is called, it was short for the Vengeance Weapon. It's a missile. It was powered by a liquid propellant rocket engine.
What is that? S Toth or something like that? Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit here.
Um, I mean, these weapons are insane, you guys. I mean, these are just a few before we get into the stuff that they hadn't made yet.
Do you want me to just go in order here with these?
Yeah.
And this looks very similar to some of the bombers we've had
Oh, yeah.
here.
But to me, that looks like more alien technology there as
This
well.
one here does.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that looks like, was it was it the B2? Like that massive fucking bomber we have is kind of flat like that. I want to say it was the B2, but definitely some similarities there. So next we have the
So,
Panzer 8 Mouse.
mhm.
Mouse. Monster.
Yes. I don't know how to say that. The Schwerer?
Well,
Gustav?
W's are like bees, so the Schwerer,
Schwerer?
Schwerer,
Schwerer?
Schwerer, Gustav.
Gustav? It's a railway gun. Look at that. That is freaking
And this,
huge.
what battle was that? They were actually had this on the route, um, to to a battle point, and I think basically the fighting stopped before they actually got there and got to fire a shot. But
Hmm.
I mean,
It was
yeah,
designed in preparation for the Battle of France, but was not ready for
yeah,
action when the battle began. And the Wehrmacht offensive through Belgium rapidly outflanked and isolated the Maginot Line, which was then besieged. The Messerschmitt 163 Comet, German aircraft. That one was pretty amazing. And the V1, let me guess, that stands for Vengeance 1.
probably. So this one, I think this one was actually more of a, yeah, bomb. Yeah, this was a bomb, not an actual um,
Early cruise missile.
manned aircraft.
Hmm.
I mean, look at the size of that thing.
The next thing we got is the Goliath mine, and that one is interesting, you guys.
No, we got the Schwalbe.
Did I miss one?
Yeah, the ME1 262.
Oh.
What was the next one? Because that's the last one I have.
You go down the next set of pictures. The only one we have left that we haven't gone over is the Goliath.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's a remote control mine.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So let's look at it at the timeline, you guys. The mid 30s, this doctor goes over Tibet, supposed to be speaking to who these Tibetans have been speaking with, right? Somebody who's there but not there, like deep in a cave or tunnel somewhere. And then just shortly after that, the Nazis decide to have some of their people go to Antarctica. And then the next year they go back. And this is all right before the war's like about to really start. Like they've already started to invade other places, but there's not a war yet technically. Um, but it's interesting. Now, here is another one. Do you want to go ahead and pull a picture of that one up, baby?
Which one? That's the last one I have.
The actual text there. Others, the Daigok. Now they always say this
Oh,
is
gotcha.
a. They always say that this is a conspiracy, you guys. Um, but I don't
Oh,
believe it
yeah.
was because there are actual people that have been witnesses of working on this and everything else. And what is interesting about the men that have had to work on this or whatever, the soldiers there, um, that if they got too close or whatever, it burned their face and it'd melt the first layer of their skin off, making their face all red. What does that remind you of?
What's his
Red
name?
face.
Captain America. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Red Skull.
Red Skull, that was it.
Mm-hmm. So they already knew something was going on. They didn't show you anything about the bell. So
Mhm.
a lot of people believe that this was um, some sort of traveling item of some sort. There are other people that believe that this may be like a time traveling device. Now, let me throw another thing in here, you guys. The dude that worked on this, the dude that this was his baby, at the end of the war when everybody's getting arrested and everything else, he was nowhere to be found, along with the bell.
Yeah, that shit was hidden
So,
away or taken, hidden away.
yeah, absolutely.
Wait for the next one.
Yes. And I don't know how to say that. You want to try that?
I think it's the Sonnengiver? Sonnengiver?
Sun you the sun gun. So it was supposed to be like an orbital weapon, and they were supposed to make use of a concave mirror mounted on a satellite to concentrate sunlight onto a small area of the Earth's surface, destroying targets or killing through heat and burning.
Sonnengiver. Sonnengiver. I think is how it's said. Sorry, go ahead.
Hmm. Hiding right in front of our face, exactly, Chrissy. The unicorns, the red face,
Yep.
exactly, exactly. And you see, this is part of it. So all of this stuff hits true with me. I know not everybody's going to believe it. Everybody has a right to believe what they want to believe. But I would like everybody to know how to combat this stuff.
Hey, Kitty.
Huh?
I think you answered the question we had from a few episodes back.
What?
Largest mayor in Texas. I have a theory that involves the largest
Oh
mayor in
my
Texas.
gosh, Dale from King of the Hill.
100-meter wide concave mirror could be used to reflect sunlight onto a concentrated point on the Earth.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Wow. So, another tale of the Nephilim that I will go into really quick. There is a connection between caves, tunnels, and Nephilim. Did you know that?
I
So
can
I believe
imagine
it
that,
was
yeah.
last week. I talked about. I think it was the Hopi. Indians had mentioned a serpentine type people that had come out of the middle of the earth through these tunnels and caves, and they were actually helpful with them and everything else. It doesn't really mention anything after that, not that I remember, but also Malta. Malta, according to their legend, this farmer's out in the field. It's late. He sees like something crashing, and this is back before we had anything flying. Like this is like 14 or 1500s or something like that, or maybe it was before that, like the 1200s. Anyway, so he sees this thing, goes checks it out, sees this huge woman. She's like 10, 12 feet tall. And she explains to him, and he got scared automatically. She's like, "Hey, don't be afraid. I'm not going to hurt you. You know, I just need a place to be. Um, I tell you what, if you allow me to stay here, I will protect you and your people." Well, at that time, Malta was having quite a bit of problems with other people, like invading, stuff like that. So they were scared shitless of her because she was huge. But they're like, okay. So they took her in. And according to legends, she is. Let me see what the name of that is. But she is one of the ones that there is like a structure in Malta that was built by her. I do not know how to pronounce it, but it's a temple. It's the Gantiha temples on the island of Gozo. And the giantess, her name was Sansuna. And according to legend, I'm going to put that in the chat if you want to put up a picture of that to where you can kind of get a feel for that. I don't know if you're able to do that, Stoner Man.
Yeah. Hey, real quick. So going back to the mirror, there is the Archimedes heat ray. So Archimedes is purported to have invented a large-scale solar furnace, sometimes described as a heat ray, and used it to burn attacking Roman ships during the siege of Syracuse. It does not appear in the surviving works of Archimedes, and there is no contemporary evidence for it, leading to modern scholars doubting its existence. But I grew up hearing about this, man.
Mm-hmm. And he was
Years
Archimedes.
along the the shore here, the sun.
And he was Archimedes, baby.
Many attempts to actually recreate this. You, now, what if this supposed was it the Zonin get how the fuck do you say that? Zonin Gaver? If they were obsessed with the occult and the definition of cult, layman's terms, something that's not necessarily understood or only available to the initiate. What if this was a technology that has been around for a very long time that was lost, and the Germans were out to try to find it, to bring it back up, like to life, and to recreate it? Let me pull up this picture for you here real quick, kitty. Is this what you were looking for? The archaeological part?
I believe so, yeah. Look at how huge that is. It was supposed to have been done in one night. That picture on the right really kind of shows you it is huge. It goes for miles. But she supposedly did this, and there was no giant man on the island, so she interbred with a male on the island, and she was doing all this carrying a baby on her hip. Hybrid.
And look at that. Like, I don't know how well you can see it right here, but does that not resemble Stonehenge a little bit? The way that
Oh
those
yeah.
are stacked.
Hmm.
But I'm sorry, Kate. You were asking earlier, Archimedes. Yeah, I mean he was a physicist. He was an astronomer. He was an engineer.
Hmm.
Very intelligent man.
Right. No, absolutely. So there was one book that was written. I don't remember who it was by, but it was by a lady. And according to this, and there's a lot of people say that it never really happened. It was just a fictional story. But according to her, she had this really weird guide that was there, and she and her friends went down to that what you call the hypogeum. These are the tunnels. Oh, that's what I needed you to pull up. Was the tunnels. Okay, so there. Let me see.
What what are they called?
Um. So the let's see here. The hypogeum,
How you spell that?
the caves. I'll put in the chat, baby. Let's see here. So 38,000 square meters of tunneling. Do you know how large that is?
Oh yeah.
That is insane. But anyway, going back into this, so this lady and her friends went down for a tour in these tunnels, and she and her friends they go through the whole tour, and they're like, yeah, they're young girls, or just kind of like whatever, this is something to do. It's hot today. It's cool in the caves, right? So they're going through the whole thing and they're just being young girls, all chatty and giggly and whatever. And this dude is showing him all these different parts, and he's like, okay, well, I think that's about it. Let's go ahead and wrap it up. And she sees this opening and she's like, it's a smaller opening. She's like, ooh, what about that over there? He's like, if you go in there, that's you're taking everything in your own hands and you're at risk and I'm not responsible. So what does she do? She and her friends do. They go in there. And according to her in this book, she saw about 25 giants that were at least 10 to 12 feet tall.
Interesting. Or the same style of stacked stone there.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, anyway, she was able to get out, everything else. A lot of people say that that story was fake. She said when she got out, the guy, the tour guide, was nowhere to be found. And the next day, she was asking the other tour guide that was there, was like, "Hey, have you talked to this dude or whatever?" And the guy tells her that there's never been anybody there by that name. He's been the only guide for that place for the last like 30 years.
Interesting.
So, yeah, yeah.
And when did that happen? Like supposedly she went into that cave.
I want to say it was like the 1930s or something like that, maybe 20s.
Interesting.
Yeah. Or it may have been a little bit later, but they also supposedly had um, a group full of kids that were going there on a trip and they disappeared, including
Yeah.
the teacher
When
in the
did the screen
tunnels.
share stop? Just now?
Hmm. No, it's been gone for a while.
What the hell? I'm scrolling through pictures here. I thought y'all could see it. I just noticed it was gone on my end. What the hell?
Here's the pictures of
Okay.
Hypogeum.
Yeah.
All right.
Did I show the pictures of the last one?
Yeah,
Okay. What the fuck?
of the
Anyway.
temple. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You showed pictures. Dude, you guys, this is massive. Absolutely massive. So let us know what y'all think. Okay, nobody put in the chat anything about the Tower of Babel, so I think we should go ahead and save that for another day, baby. What you think?
No, Chrissy said she wanted to hear it. It
Oh,
was
she
way
did? I
back.
didn't see
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it was way back, but yeah,
Okay.
she said she wanted to hear it.
Okay. So everybody knows the Tower of Babel. Babel, however you want to say it. And basically, you have all of these people coming together. It's like, oh, let's make this big tower and make a name for ourselves, right? And you could tell it's pride. Okay, well, you have people building skyscrapers today out of pride. Like, so it never has made sense with me why God would intervene in something like that, right? So I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. So going back and reading it. Okay. So you have all these people, they're there. Well, if you look at the, let me see if I still have this up. On the Tower of Babel, Babel in Hebrew, guess what that means?
What's it mean?
Gateway to God. So they were trying to cheat God's natural law and reach him through what I believe was a stargate. I believe they had this. I believe that they had this technology from the Nephilim. I believe that they all maybe didn't speak the same language, but they were able to because they had devices that could understand each other's languages and speak out whatever language they needed to.
Interesting.
They were denying God's will. That's another thing. Because, right before that, just 2 chapters before that, God is telling Noah and his sons to be fruitful, multiply, and fill the earth, meaning spread out. But they were over here making this one little city, trying to come all together, which I don't think that would make God mad, right? They're building a tower. I don't think that would make God mad. Interesting though, it's a ziggurat. These ziggurats are found all throughout history. Look at the ancient ziggurats, like the Aztec and the Mayan pyramids. Ancient gods, are you know are Nephilim, and basically the sons and daughters of these angels. And what would happen at these pyramids? What would happen at these ziggurats? Sacrifices, human sacrifices. So that's just my theory on that. Y'all let me know what y'all think.
That's definitely some interesting stuff there, man.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to say there was something like a movie or show or something that used that like concept of having like a device that could like translate many different like any language.
Right. So we're
Like
not far
even
away
like
from that.
I mean I think even Star Trek basically they use like an AI that like analyzed like the voice patterns. I know they use that in Halo too. Like
Mm-hmm.
analyzing like voice patterns and everything and tone, everything to try to like piece together like how the language works and mechanics and everything. Because it's not just
Right.
about the meaning of the words; it's about how it's spoken and constructed and everything.
Absolutely. Yeah, we aren't far away from that technology whatsoever. And I
No, not
believe
at all.
that because, like, God was like, come, let us go down and confuse your language. So, what did he do? He just messed with the machines, he messed with the server, he messed with whatever it was that was connected to it. And what did they do? They couldn't understand each other. So, they ran away, they scattered.
Makes sense.
Absolutely, Chrissy. Sounds like an AI thing currently. I agree.
I think that technology's already been around though.
Oh, yeah.
I think maybe
Mhm.
that's even where the Rosetta Stone came from.
Interesting. So you want to go into that a little bit?
I'd say that would be another episode there, but listen to Rosetta Stone by Tool. There's a
Hmm.
whole lot to break down that song.
Absolutely. Well, I couldn't believe it, but I pretty much filled up 2 hours, baby.
Oh, I'm surprised you haven't filled up more. There's a lot with that shit.
Well, there's a
But
lot more, but we are going to be honest
we're just
here. We are
scratching the
saving,
surface.
right? We are
Yeah.
saving some of the more researched items that we have done as well for the Just Doing
So,
podcast.
yeah.
So,
But, yeah. Definitely some shit to Wolfenstein as well. Absolutely. I,
mhm.
the whole with summoning like the demons and like even in like anybody remembers like the old Return to Castle Wolfenstein, the weird fucking giant creature that like had like the mechanical arms that walked on and shit. Like I mean like basically they were kind of chimeras, man. They're splicing like you know mechanical parts to this biological demon creature fucking thing. Like yeah, I think they were deep into a lot of shit we don't know about, dark shit that we, you know, a lot of people aren't ready to hear. want to know actually exist yet, But
Mm,
little stuff like this, I feel like kind of helps people take it in, when people can start researching and doing their own homework and making their own discernments from everything, they'll be ready to take on more and to, hear more of the heavy truth that they're just not ready for yet.
right.
Like a big part,
Absolutely.
you know, even, taking the page out of Trump's book, man, you gotta get the people to a point where they are ready to hear the truth and to listen. And I feel like a big part of how he did that was he made people start seeing shit, start putting it out there for people to see with their own eyes and start to say, hey, something's not adding up here. And they started doing their homework and saying, hey, there's more to this or that or whatever it may be, whatever the case in the world, that I know are willing to, accept. It's not just with politics. I mean, it's with history. It's with science. It's with this occult shit. And the occult, it's not just witchcraft and dark magic. I mean, it's anything that really basically hidden knowledge or things that we don't understand or perceive as something, you know, magic. Magic is the shit we don't fucking perceive, man. That we think is this ethereal waving wands and shit like that. Magic is really just shit like science on a level higher than we understand. Talking to God, talking to demons, whatever it is real. It's physical. It exists and it operates. It has mechanics. You know, there is science to it. It's not magic. It's not witchcraft. It's science, man. And it just depends on how you use it and what you're trying to do. I mean, look, you can make poison and you can make a medicine. You know, but yes, Chrissy, we all want to know. I want to know more. Never stop asking questions. Never stop learning.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah, great episode, Kitty. Definitely put a lot of information out there to really get people thinking. So, but
Yeah,
like we always say, guys, never take us, what we say, as 100% fact, man. We're up here
absolutely.
putting, doing research, putting our own theories and logic, and making our own, you know, ideas and judgments. I'm not saying we're right about any of this or half of it or wrong about any of it. I'm just saying question everything. Make your own judgments and decisions. Just do it informed. Stop saying,
Right,
well, mainstream hasn't told me this is real, so I'm not going to accept it. If somebody doesn't want you to know something, they're not going to tell you it exists. Or maybe they
right.
have been telling you the whole time and you're just not realizing that they have been telling you. With like look at Red Skull.
Mm-hmm.
It's always right in front of your face.
Absolutely.
Maybe you just need to decode it.
Absolutely. I have put both links to Gary Wayne's two books, The Genesis 6 Conspiracy and The Genesis 6 Conspiracy Part 2. I'm going to put Nathan Reynolds, his actual channel, in the chat as well, baby. Um,
Okay.
he he is amazing. And you talk about, like, we were talking about kind of like roughing it earlier. Um, we were talking about that, and I will tell you guys that that's nothing compared to what he's already doing. So I'm going to share his YouTube channel. Y'all be sure to check him out. You want to talk about knowing how to fight in this war? Check out his channel. He
Heck yeah.
is he does videos. He goes into physical weapons, weapons of your tongue, like just yeah, absolutely.
Heck yeah. Okay, you ready to call the rep for the night?
I am. Did y'all have
You
any
sure?
questions, chat? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if anybody has anything to add or they wanna ask anything, please let us know.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, I don't think I have anything else other than hey, it's good to see Ryan back up on the Instagram for a little bit.
Let's get what?
Good to see Ryan back up on Instagram for a little bit.
Oh heck yeah.
He was gone for a few days.
Yeah, it's been busy. Doing life.
Yes,
Doing life.
yes, absolutely. So,
Well,
anyway,
everybody, thanks so much for joining in. Chrissy, Woodchuck, Georgia, Canada. I saw Just Doing was in there earlier before we went down.
hmm
Darkitect, also thank you for joining in, man. Appreciate the subscribe, man. Um,
absolutely.
man, everything you guys have said tonight has been awesome. You guys have brought
hmm
good stuff to the table. That's what we love, man. We love getting you guys involved and hearing your thoughts, and we're trying to figure it out. You're trying to figure it out. Let's all figure it out together, man. It's gonna take all of us.
Absolutely,
It's gonna take all of
absolutely,
us. But
absolutely. And that
well,
includes like I may think differently than some of y'all in the chat, and that's okay.
oh yeah,
I
we
would
think
rather
differently on a lot of shit.
I would rather them tell me, like how they disagree or whatever, than just blindly agree with me. I mean, I'm like,
Absolutely.
heck yeah. Like you and I don't always agree all the time either.
Oh no,
Like
not
on
at
the
all.
spiritual stuff. But hey,
And
absolutely.
you don't have to agree on everything. We'll all find it
hmm
our own way. So,
Absolutely. I love you
well,
guys in the chat.
heck yeah, you guys are awesome, man. We couldn't do that without you. Oh man, Dark Tech, we're wrapping it up, man. But oh man, hey, we appreciate you, man, for jumping in. We appreciate the subscribe, and we especially appreciate what you brought to the chat, man. We love it when you
Absolutely.
guys bring real shit to the chat, and I'm just reiterate since you just got back, man. But you know, we promote question everything. Don't believe us or blindly listen to us. And, man, it's going to take all of us to figure this out in life, man, figure out the real truth out there. It takes all of us together to to do this, man. It's not going to be just one. So, your guys'
Right.
feedback, your ideas, everything, we love hearing it. Helps us piece it together, man.
Absolutely. That's what we love. 100%.
Heck yeah. All right, guys. Well, I hope everyone has a great weekend. And what are we doing next week? Let me pull that up real quick. Next week, we are going to be doing programming from the television.
Mm-hmm. So that definitely ties in with this as well.
Oh, yeah.
hmm
Yep.
So what ways do they control? So this is what I want y'all to think about. If the Nephilim really do exist and their descendants really do exist, and we're living in that society today, this is why PDF filing has gotten so out of hand. This is why so many rituals are getting out of hand. This is why there's so much darkness and ugliness in this world. If that is truly the case, I want y'all to think about this. How are they getting away with it?
It's two big industries. Oh, I love it. Two big
As
industries.
part of it, yes. Yes,
That is where the
absolutely.
majority of it is. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
take that back. Three. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Well, that's all we're gonna say on that one, guys. We'll dive into that one next Friday, 8:30.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all have a great weekend, guys. We appreciate y'all so much. We couldn't do it without y'all. So please have a great weekend,
Absolutely.
guys.
You have a
Crib
great one.
Squad.
Greek Club, motherfucker.